The bill came to $15,000. One dinner, 12 people, and every single cent of it was completely 100% the CEO's fault. He thought he was being clever. He thought cutting the engineers from the party was a smart little cost-saving move that nobody would really challenge. He had absolutely no idea what Marcus was about to do. And the best part, Marcus never broke a single rule. He just did exactly what he was told. Every year, the company flew its entire staff to Las Vegas for the industry's biggest annual conference. Engineers, sales teams, marketing, executives, everyone. A full week of panels, client dinners, product showcases, and if you played your cards right, some genuinely legendary nights on the Strip. The conference mattered, not just for business, for culture. It was the one week where the people who built the product sat in the same room as the people who sold it. Relationships got built across departments that made the other 51 weeks run smoother. And the highlight, the event everyone looked forward to from January onwards, was the company's own party. Full nightclub buyout, open bar, VIP tables. The kind of event that made people feel like being part of this company meant something. And then, Derek got involved. Derek had been CEO for 3 years, sharp on strategy, good in a boardroom. But he had a particular blind spot. He loved to cut costs in places that looked decisive as long as those cuts didn't touch his own comfort. First-class flights for himself, economy for everyone else, premium suite on the executive floor, budget rooms for the engineers, catered lunches for leadership, vending machines for everyone below VP level. He built a career on making other people's resources feel like waste. So when Derek spotted the entire engineering department on the party guest list, something clicked. A calculation. A deeply stupid one. Why are we paying for them? They don't close deals. They don't schmooze clients. They sit in the back and write code. He pulled them off the list. Just like that, he called Marcus in the next morning to deliver the news. Marcus was the regional vice president overseeing engineering. 15 years with the company, longer than Derek had been CEO. The kind of manager who knew every team member by name, knew what they were building, knew which ones were thinking about leaving, and what it would take to keep them. His division had the highest retention rate in the company. In an industry where good engineers walked every 6 months, Marcus's people stayed. Derek didn't know that, or he knew it and decided it wasn't relevant. Derek explained it simply. Engineers weren't attending the party. Client-facing event, not necessary. Marcus kept his face completely neutral, a skill built over 15 years of working for people who confused authority with intelligence. Then Derek added the line that would cost him $15,000. Take them out for a nice dinner. Make them happy. And the budget? Just make them happy. No number, no ceiling, no approval process. Just make them happy. Marcus said thank you and walked out. And here's what nobody in that building knew yet, including Derek. Marcus wasn't going home to complain. He wasn't going to send a passive-aggressive email or file a grievance or make a scene of any kind. He was going to do exactly what Derek asked. Thoroughly, professionally, and with exceptional taste. He gathered the team that afternoon, told them straight, no spin, no softening. The CEO had pulled them from the party, but Marcus thought they deserved a real night, so they were going to dinner. He looked around the room. Order whatever you want. I mean that. Whatever you want. Someone asked where they were going. Marcus smiled. Somewhere appropriate. There is a category of Las Vegas restaurant that exists in a different financial atmosphere from everywhere else. Not expensive in the way that good restaurants are expensive. Expensive in the way that makes accountants physically uncomfortable when the receipt clears. The kind of place where the menu doesn't list prices because if you're asking, you're already in the wrong restaurant. Marcus had booked a table at one of those. The team sat down, looked at the menus, looked at Marcus. He nodded. So they ordered. Wagyu beef, the specific kind priced by the ounce, sourced from a single Japanese prefecture. Bottles of Bordeaux from the early 1980s. Single malt Scotch aging in barrels since before several of the engineers had started school. A cheese board large enough to function as a serving tray. Gold leaf desserts that had clearly taken most of the afternoon to prepare. 4 hours. Nobody checked their phones. Nobody talked about work. They just talked. At the end of the evening, the waiter appeared with a leather folder, placed it in front of Marcus with the gravity reserved for significant numbers, and stepped back. Marcus opened it, placed his company credit card inside without changing his expression. $15,240 before the tip. The expense report hit Derek's inbox at 7:14 the following morning, automatically flagged because no single meal in the company's history had ever generated a charge in that range. Derek called Marcus before 9. By all accounts, he was not using his boardroom voice. Marcus let him finish, then responded calmly, clearly, in complete sentences. You told me to take the team for a nice dinner and make them happy. You confirmed there was no budget. I followed your instructions. The team had an excellent evening. Derek told him to get it reversed. Marcus pointed out the meal had been consumed. The receipt was valid. No grounds for reversal. Derek threatened his employment. HR sent a memo by noon, in writing, copied to outside legal counsel, outlining that terminating a senior employee for following a direct verbal instruction with no stated limit would constitute wrongful dismissal. They recommended strongly against it. Derek sat with the bill, and then he paid it. $15,240 plus tip. The party the engineers hadn't attended. $1,200 per person. 12 engineers at $1,200 each. $14,400 total. His attempt to save that money cost him more than he would have spent. Marcus was never disciplined. 6 months later, his division posted the highest retention numbers in company history. No mention of the dinner in his review. Just a quiet note about exceptional team performance. The engineers still talk about that night. Not because of what it cost, because of what it meant. That someone in that building saw them, thought they were worth fighting for, and fought in the only way that couldn't be argued with. Derek reportedly never again issued an instruction without a written budget attached. Specific numbers, hard ceilings, documented approval chains. Funny how $15,000 teaches lessons that no management course ever quite managed. So here's what I want to know. Marcus never broke a single rule, never went over anyone's head. He just did exactly what he was told, thoroughly and with excellent taste in wine. Was he completely in the right, or did he go too far? And if you'd been at that table, would you have ordered the Wagyu? Drop your verdict in the comments. I read every single